How's it going? So I want to make a very quick video on, it's just in relation to community, because I watched this guy on my other channel. Well, not channel, but I mean other account, my work account. And I saw the comments and they're like, no, you're just noob. You know, they get good kids who have 20 IQ. I just want to talk about the experience I had with World of Warcraft. And you'll see how it relates to the get good kids. Right? So I was playing Affliction Warlock back then. I played like for 6 months, right? And this patch came out, the Mists of Pandora, I think, right? And Warrior got this thing. It was like Second Wind ability. And it was impossible to kill a Warrior as a Affliction Warlock, basically. Unless you have like some kind of super gear or something like that, right? But those Warriors that were the same level as me, I just couldn't get them below 20% health, right? Now, I spoke to some of the people I know, and they told me, no, you just suck. They are hardcore World of Warcraft players. Hardcore, right? Now, another thing you have to understand about them is that they are heavy weed users. Like, I'm talking there, most of them are unemployed, and they smoke weed while they're playing and when they're not playing. So their basically brain is kind of fried. So their kind of cognitive ability is very questionable. So what I did was, I paid a warrior who had very similar gear to me to stand still. So he was like standing still like this. So he was like the warrior guy, right? And I just, because in World of Warcraft you have macro where you can unload all of your spells correctly, in the correct sequence. So I just, like, I was the magician in there. Let me just draw it this way. And I just, like, unloaded everything on him. I paid him 10,000 gold just to stand still. And I wanted to see, is it actually possible to kill him if I literally unload everything on him, right? And again, the same problem. Below 20%, he's just unkillable. I just didn't do enough damage, right? And then I showed, back then I wasn't a YouTuber, but I managed to record the video. And I showed him the video. And you also have to remember, it was like 13 years ago, right? So I don't have the video. Otherwise I would have showed you, right? But the bottom line, I showed it to him, and you know what he said? He said, oh, it's because you're not good enough. And I just quit the game at that point. That's it. I just give up. Because the community is full of people, I don't think they can process what they're seeing on the screen. I just like, because I thought about those guys that they smoke so much weed, that their ability to think clearly, like clarity of thinking, is just not there. Like, how can you look at this and say, oh, the reason why you can't kill this warrior has something to do with your skill. Dude, we have the same gear. And this guy is not even moving. Are you saying that a better player can somehow press buttons better than me? Because I have a macro. It's not even the pressing buttons is the problem. Because macro is like, I copied macro from top players. Do you know what I mean? So it's the same thing in here. You have to understand that there are some people that are going to look at this and they're going to say that, oh, the reason why he's missing, look, like, how did this shot miss? Now the second one hits, so there's 50% probability of hitting. And it's the same shit in here. If you look at it, it's just, I think it's in here somewhere, right?
Watch this.
So do you see what I'm saying? Is that just bullets are not registering. And some of those kids are gonna look at this and say, oh, it's because you're not good enough. Like, you just have to kind of not argue with them. Because the reason why I'm making this video is because like, comments are off, but I mean, in my other browser I can see comments. And people are like trying to argue. Dude, okay, you're arguing with a person who has probably, you have to remember that kids have 5 to 20 IQ. So some of them have actually 5 IQ. Do you understand? Like they are so like there is nothing inside the brain. So trying to logically explain something to these guys is like what are you even doing? I have this kind of concept. If you take a person who is, let's say, mentally disabled, so he's missing a chromosome, right? You know that guys I'm talking about, like people with Down syndrome, Special Olympics guys, right? And you take them and you put them through Oxford University. What do you think is gonna happen at the end of the course that they did? So the course is like what, 3 to 4 years. Let's say, I don't know, we do some accounting or whatever. Let's do some science, biochemistry. Let's put a Down person through biochemistry class in Oxford University. Like, do you think he's gonna understand biochemistry? No, he won't. Because his brain is just not capable of processing the information that is being presented to them. So when they look at this, like their brain is just not seeing what you're seeing. Do you understand, like, the problem? One thing I saw that, let me try to find it, one sec. I don't know, I couldn't find the free episode, so otherwise, it was like from Malcolm in the Middle. I don't really watch the show, but I came across this episode and I found that to be funny. This guy was like, he's watching the news and this is what it looks like to him. So just kind of...
In international news, boring.
So, do you understand?
In international news, boring.
Yeah, so you see, like, I'm trying to kind of explain this shite to him, and what he sees is kind of this. Because it's not exciting. Like, logic is not really exciting, I suppose. You know, analysis, it's kind of like school. Like, do kids really go to school? No, because it's boring. Math is boring. Well, once you become an adult, it kind of gives you a kick, because once your brain becomes certain size, you start liking intellectual challenges. Especially when you become like super smart, you really start craving. What's the word? One sec. Yeah, craving. So that's what happens, is that like you just want intellectual challenges. Like that's why you see like people like to do crossword puzzles and then do some stuff. But I mean, it takes a bit of time for the brain to get to that stage. So again, I mean, if you're trying to, it's like if you're trying to explain to these guys, that's what they're gonna see. So that's what I'm saying, is that it's kind of pointless to even try. It's not gonna work. You have to wait until they grow up, you know. But and then you're dealing with some adults who just, their brains are just being basically, they're gone. Like their brains are just gone. So yeah, just be aware that, you know, when you start to talk to people in comment section and they're like, get good kids, I mean, you just have to wait until they grow up, and that's it. Okay, take care, bye bye.